What's up, guys? It's the Active Gamer, and I know that the title is a little clickbait, but you guys will understand why I put that in the title when I'm done telling the story, because this trip with my mom was probably one of the craziest trips I've ever been on. And I've been to Alaska, Mexico, and this trip was literally just for a concert. Pearl Jam, Chicago. We were going just for them. This wasn't supposed to be a crazy trip whatsoever, but it turned into one of the most eventful trips a 2-day trip can ever be. So it starts off with us just leaving for Chicago, and it was the very first week of school. So I was a little worn out, actually. I was just like, oh man, I'm sad. School's starting back up. I was not in the best mood, honestly. But I was still really excited to go to Chicago and to see Pearl Jam. Because Pearl Jam's my mom's favorite band, and I like it, but it's not my favorite band of all time. But I was very happy to go see them. And we get there, and this is this school year at the very beginning of it. And I was scared that I was going to get killed by like a gang or something like that. And funnily enough, we got there just as a White Sox game got out, so there was a whole bunch of people going back from that. And there was a lot of sketchy people, so it didn't help my my nervousness to be around those people. But then we get to the hotel. It's really nice, but my nerves go away, and I'm just like, all right, I'm here to have fun now. Wow, what an awful teammate. But I'm just thinking, all right, I'm here to have fun now. I don't care if I get killed or anything. I mean, obviously I cared, but I wasn't worried about it. And I see on the news that next morning that someone at the stop where we went to our hotel, around 30 minutes after we got off, maybe it was like 15, got stabbed, So I'm just like watching the news at like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, hey mom, where we just got dropped off, someone got stabbed there. God, my team is awful. Holy crap. But I was just like, wow, okay, that's very crazy, because I was not expecting that. Oh, actually I was, but she wasn't. So yeah, that was a pretty eventful start to Chicago, because I was expecting it, but my mom wasn't. So it was kind of funny being like, haha, mom, you were wrong. I was right. There's gang stuff going on, even though it probably wasn't even gang related. But yeah, it was very, very funny. Not funny, but like surprising, I guess, that I was actually right. And then we went to a breakfast place that was inside the hotel, and it was fancy as crap. And they served us a good amount of food, but it was for like $1 million, so it wasn't worth it. And so we start off our day, and that's the day of the concert. But the concert is not happening until like, it was later at night, so we had a lot of time to walk around Chicago. And my mom, obviously, like, she's like, all right, we need to go up one of the tall buildings, because that's, you have to do that in Chicago. So we go up the John Hancock building, I believe, and my mom gets a drink at the very top, and I get a dessert. And we just are sitting there, talking about random stuff. I don't know, family, events that's going to happen in the future. And then all of a sudden, we start seeing things flying off in the background, and we're like, what the heck is happening? And then we look out the window behind us, and there are these planes doing like aerial maneuvers and like flying around and almost hitting the ground, but then pulling up. And we realized that there was an air and water show going on. And when I was up there, I was like, all right, yeah, that's pretty cool. We're gonna be in there. We're gonna see some of them. I wasn't thinking that much of it. But when we left the building and we walked outside, we were legit being raided. It felt like a war. And there was like not World at War. There was like World War I biplanes flying by. So it was like true. It sounded like we were in war or in a battle. And that, I loved the concert, but that was so cool, because we were just walking around, and all of a sudden we hear like a whole bunch of planes flying over us. that was just so awesome. It literally felt like we were being raided. It felt like World War III just happened. So now you can see why I titled the video that. But we continue our walk while we're being raided, you know, just casually. And eventually, my mom knows this one pizza place, and she's taking me to it. And then eventually, fighter jets start coming out. And they're flying pretty low down to the ground, but not like extremely low. And then there's one point when we're crossing this street to go to Soldier Field, because Soldier Field was close to the pizza place. And anyone who doesn't know what Soldier Field is, it's the Bears Stadium. And we were going there, and then all of a sudden we look up and there's these fighter jets flying straight down at the ground. And I swear to God, I could have reached up and touched them. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard in a long time. And I felt so cool after that, because I just looked up and see these like 4 fighter jets in a formation flying straight down to us. And I'm just looking in amazement while my mom is doing the same thing, looking in amazement. And we don't even say anything to each other at first, but when they fly away, we just like look at each other and we're like, did that actually just happen? Did those planes actually just do that? And it was so cool. Then we walked to the bay of Lake Michigan. There's Soldier Field. There's this one big museum that looks a lot like Washington, D.C., so that was pretty cool. But I got to touch Lake Michigan. I kind of reached down really far, but I really wanted to touch it for some reason. Just to say I touched a Great Lake, because living in Colorado, you don't get to do that much. But that was really cool. It wasn't, you know, crazy. But then, oh my God, I did not realize how good this is going to be. But we went to that one pizza place that my mom was mentioning. And by far, best pizza I have ever had. And I don't think anything will beat it in my entire life. Because I got like a pepperoni, sausage, and meatball pizza. And they put the pepperoni on top. And then the meatball and sausage like under the cheese. And you bit into it, and it was like you were eating a sandwich with pizza. It was 2 beautiful things combined. And there's this one pizza place in Colorado called Crazy Carl's. I told my mom I don't think it was gonna be better than that, because I think Crazy Carl's is the best. But yeah, knocked it out of the water. Crazy Carl's is like in Colorado it's a 10 out of 10. In Chicago it's like a 7 out of 10, maybe even a 6 out of 10 compared to that place. Then finally, the main attraction of why we were going there was the Pearl Jam concert. And I forgot when we got there. I think it was 6:30, 7, around there. And we get there. There wasn't that much people there at first. But I, for some reason, was on my phone a lot, which is so dumb, because now I'm like totally against like being on your phone in those situations. But I guess I pulled one of those times. But then when the actual concert started, I was very, very into it. They played a lot of songs that I didn't know at first, but then they got to Even Flow, for anyone who knows Pearl Jam songs, and I started really getting into it then. And the concert lasted for like 3 hours, and they were going hard the entire time. So I am super impressed that they lasted 3 hours doing what they did. Because I wouldn't have even lasted like 10 minutes at max. So, you know, a lot of respect for Pearl Jam on that one. But, yeah, it was a very long concert, but it didn't feel long because it was so eventful. Then, towards the end of the concert, when they're starting to play like the songs that everyone knows, you know, Alive, Yellow Ledbetter, there's this one fan who I hear a whole bunch of commotion, and I'm like, okay, what the crap is happening? But then I looked down, and we were at Wrigley Field, which is the stadium for the Cubs, and the infield was blocked off because they didn't want the actual field to get messed up. But I look down and I see this guy, and he's jumping over the fence, and I don't think he was wearing a shirt, but he's jumping over the fence, and like he falls down. He trips and falls down, and then all the security comes out and like tackles him, and they're like dragging him, and everyone's cheering. And it was during Alive, I think that was happening. So, and it was the guitar solo of Alive. So it was super loud, you know, with the guitar. And then I just see this guy being like tackled in the infield, and that just made me so happy because that guy was so dumb. But like that just made the night better just because it was, you know, an event happening. And my mom didn't even see it at first. I had to like say, "Mom, look at this," and then she saw it. That was awful. Yeah, that was a little thing to spark up that night. But then that was really all the trip was. I go home the next day, and then I think I go to school the next day after that. So a lot of things that happen, and then all of a sudden going to school. It's kind of weird change. Going from like a Chicago, there's like a whole bunch of like cars on the road partying the entire time, and like just so loud, big city, you know, it was a lot of fun, to a little town in Colorado that is super quiet, and there's a whole bunch of like, you know, nice innocent people here. It was a big change, but it was a little fun 2-day trip that I had with my mom to Chicago. My mom's pretty cool, I know. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.